Walter? This way, Vince. Come on.
So I wrote these down. I just wanted to share them, and I'm going to make them short and sweet. But I want them to be said. And then I think Mom said anyone who has something else short and sweet down. When I think about my dad and the memories I have with him, foremost I think of the 3-day road trip that we took together the week before Katie and I got married when we left from Provo to Boston. I remember seeing his friends in Chicago or Scott Barber's parents in Iowa. And one regret I have with my dad is I promised him after that trip a couple years later that we were going to sell this clothing company that I started, and I was going to buy a Ferrari and drive him cross country. And I was never able to do that, and I sincerely regret it. But some of the things, as I've gotten older, where I realized I didn't appreciate as a teenager, that now I've become like my dad. And I just wanted to mention a few things. The day my father passed away, I was driving in my car, and the song by the Stones, "Can't You Hear Me Knocking," came on my phone. That was my dad's favorite song. He says it has the best guitar intro out of any rock song ever, and I think he's right. I've also recently realized that all the songs he forced us to listen to driving from Boulder to Provo, some of them are actually pretty good. In particular, I discovered Johnny Cash this past summer. I remember growing up in a home that was happy, free from contention. I love my siblings. I feel like we had a great childhood with good friends and family that surround us and support us. I like to think of my dad as a high schooler who only gave up, as he tells us, I'm sure it's true, he only gave up 2 points as a wrestler his senior season. Or watching him play racquetball, and 10 years later, he would spot me 10 points when I was playing racquetball with him, and he would still beat me. Or believing the story that he told me about him conquering the Widowmaker, which I pointed out to my wife this morning at the point of the mountain, and racing dirt bikes in the dunes in southern Utah. Did I lose the sound? I remember the joy of great meals together, of having 40 Holmsteads march to our house onto Pearl Street to Pasta J's each summer, or the MG in the slums of Denver. I think of him supporting Dax in baseball with his nerd stat book that he kept and saved for years while driving back and forth from Lubbock, Texas. I remember driving with my mom and dad to the Monterey Car Show and appreciating the beauty of all the well-crafted cars. I remember him constantly telling me and reminding me how proud he was of me. Even as his memory faded, he remembered to tell the nurses and near random strangers things that I had accomplished, which really aren't great accomplishments, but to him meant a lot. And I will always remember the last moment I had with my dad alone in the hospital when my mom stepped out 2 days before he passed away. And I was able to hold his hand and give him a hug and let him know how much I loved him and how grateful I would be to meet him beyond the veil. Anyway, here's to you, Gordon Holmstead. I love you.
You that, and I wanted to share that with those of you who are here. When I think of Gordon, as Lori said, the last 2 years of his life were, I think, just pure hell. He really struggled, and it was very difficult. But there was a time in Gordon's life that he was so full of life. I didn't know a person more full of life than him. Anyway, I want to share this, what I wrote, and that Cecily put in that book. As I think back over my life and memories of my brother Gordon, I can't help but think of the old neighborhood in Lehigh on Main Street. As a young boy, Gordon was driven by perfection. I remember dropping a baseball throw or a football pass during a friendly competitive neighborhood game, and Gordon would go crazy. Any of you remember Gordon going crazy? Because he expected as much from me as he did from himself. Growing up as the younger brother of Gordon Holmstead was a pleasure. I have always been very proud to say that he is my brother. I was inspired by watching him play baseball, football, and wrestling. I will never forget the dreams I had of being a high school football star while trying on Gordon's number 14 uniform in the laundry room in the basement of my mom and dad's house. Over time, Gordon became one of my best supporting fans. He was always in the stands, cheering me on, pushing me to be my finest. I've spent a lot of time with Gordon. In fact, out of all the siblings, I think I've spent more time with him than any of them. Used to work for him for 7 years. Riding with him in his nice cars, working by his side, talking about his life and its meaning. I always feel good inside when I'm with my big brother, Gordon. I remember feeling so proud of Gordon when I came home from Pennsylvania and realized what a success he had become. A beautiful family, his own business, a good, honest person. What a great example he set for me to follow. I can honestly say that not a day goes by that I don't think and apply a business lesson that I learned while working with Gordon. The ideas might be simple or small, but those ideas and principles have helped guide my business and personal life. More than Gordon could ever imagine. A single word I would define Gordon is passion. He always went after things with such intense passion. That is also the word that describes my love for Gordon. In closing, I can think of a few funny experiences. The Ken Burgess tackle on the Lehigh Armory basketball court after Ken had been taunting me. Let me just tell you a little bit about that. We had a Debbie's employee basketball team playing against the Chipman's employee basketball team in the old American Fort Armory. And this guy kept taunting me during the game. Gordon finally lost it, tackled the guy on the floor. I mean, this was just a fun, playful game. He took him down. I thought, this guy's crazy. But I'll never forget that. The time that Gordon and I were at the drive-up window at the Provo High Spot. Any of you ever went to the Provo High Spot? This has been years and years ago. And we'd been working all day in the store. I was going to college, I think, at the time. He asked me if I thought the money that he spent on outdoor bench advertising was worth it. We're sitting at the driveway, looking this way. As we look, waiting to get something to eat, we began laughing uncontrollably because right across the street, we were looking at the bench advertising for the Enterprise. It was just funny at the time. We laughed uncontrollably all the way back to American Ford. Racing around just one more lap at the Malibu Grand Prix, a racetrack, to obtain the best time. Yes, maybe that is the best word that describes Gordon. Racing. Now that you've been forced to slow things down a bit, it gives all of us, especially me, a chance to say, I have a racing, passionate love for you and all that you stand for. I can't wait to see what fun and memorable experiences we will have together in the future. I love you, your little brother. Now you can see why I wanted to share that. I feel bad for those of you who didn't get to know Gordon the way that I did. But I'm telling you, What a great guy. What a great, fun, loving, kind. Just the other day, this woman that works for me, you may remember her. The younger kids probably won't, but her name was Allison. Her name's Allison Bean. She was the next door neighbor to Gord and Claudia when they had the twins. She used to tend them. And she said, I remember Gordon, we shared backyards, but he always insisted that he come pick me up in his fun car, whatever that was, drive me back home, or come pick me up. And she said he was so kind. He was so full of life. He was so lovable, you know. I wish that you all can remember him that way. Thank you for coming.
Okay, I'm going to say a few words and then we can visit a little bit more. I've been thinking a lot of getting these treasures out, and it's brought a lot of memories to me. And I told many of you I had a total meltdown the other day because
everything he did, he was aggressive, and you know, that's the dad I remember. And I have tons of great memories of that. He and I spent a lot of time on the road, and so I've been able to really transition and remember the great memories with him and the person that I remember. That's really what I reflected on, and so hopefully that everybody here can kind of the same, has those memories. And I mostly just wanted to thank everybody that is here. He loved every single one of you, and I've got really good memories and stories with everybody in this room. It was fun getting to see people, and so I appreciate everybody coming, and really love the family. You got a comment, Jay?
When you get done, I just want to make sure that I don't close too soon.
What's that?
Can I go after you?
Absolutely, yeah. So, and I'm pretty much wrapped up. So I can bring you the mic, like.
You're up. I love my brother Gordon. The rest of my brothers and sisters. I can remember.